Chefeteers, I'm Chef Nakia, and I want you to be more confident in the kitchen, and I want you to have a lot of fun during this gift giving season. And if you are someone who is a DIYer and you are thinking about doing some DIY edible gifts for your friends and family and loved ones this year, then this video is for you. Today, I'm gonna share with you a few big picture questions and themes you may wanna think about as you consider which DIY foodie gifts you want to give this year, along with the 5 main groupings I see of DIY edible food gifts, and specific questions for you to consider under each one to make sure that your gift is loved and cherished by the gift receiver as much as it is by you, the gift giver. So let's not waste any time. It's a busy season. We all have a lot to do, right? So let's just jump right in. Number 1, quality over quantity. And I think this is true with almost everything in life, but especially if you are putting the effort into these DIY edible gifts, I think that it would be a lot better to source the highest quality ingredients that you can for whatever budget you're working within, and maybe scale back a little bit on the amount that you give each person, but ensure that what you are giving is really high quality. If we're gonna use cocktail kits as an example, I think most people would prefer really high quality garnishes and mixers for maybe only 2 or 4 drinks, as opposed to enough for 12 people, but it's really no different than maybe a mixer that you would pick up at the store for yourself. I think that the thought going into the quality is going to be so appreciated by your gift receivers. And be kind with the amount that you give. This time of year, a lot of us are either cooking and baking more than normal, and or we are receiving more baked goods and lovely gifts than normal, and so sometimes it could feel overwhelming to try to eat through everything that you have on hand. So maybe having a little bit of a scaled down amount is actually kinder to people. Now, number 2 is to personalize as much as possible. And again, I think this is a pretty universal tip, but the more that you can personalize the gift to the gift receiver, the better. And especially with food-based gifts where dietary restrictions could be a concern, or flavor preferences, I think it's really important that we keep these things in mind. The fact that we are DIYing these gifts gives us so much more freedom and flexibility to make sure that it's gonna be personalized and as perfect as it can be to the person who we're gifting this to. For example, if you want to make a bunch of cupcakes for a group of people, and you know that a few of them love coconut, a few of them love Nutella or chocolate hazelnut spread, and a few of them love raspberry, then you can make the same base vanilla cupcake and maybe some vanilla, some chocolate. Maybe you can make the same base vanilla and chocolate cupcakes, but then based off of the filling and the icing on those cupcakes, you can personalize to make sure that the people who prefer coconut are gonna get the coconut cupcakes, and so forth. So when we are personalizing gifts, edible gifts for people, I do think that it's important to remember any food allergies, restrictions, or health concerns around certain foods that these people might be experiencing, along with their flavor preferences, and then how realistic this gift is in the person's life. How likely are they to actually consume and enjoy this gift? Now, number 3, I'm summing up as clear is kind. And I think it's clarity in a couple different ways. So number 1 is if you are, for example, gifting baked goods to friends, you want to be clear in how long those baked goods will be at their best. So if you are gifting something with a short shelf life, be clear about that. Because the person who's receiving that gift, I'm sure that they want to eat that at its peak of, the peak of it being at its best quality. And so the clearer that you can be with that, then the more likely they're going to be able to eat that up in those amount of days. And then number 2 is to include instructions for how to use this gift if there could be any sense of uncertainty. Doing like a kit style thing. I think of those like classic throwback brownie mix in a jar, where it's like a nice big mason jar and you have the flour and cocoa powder and sugar already measured out, and people just add in an egg and some oil and bake it. A kit like that, or like a mulled wine kit maybe. Even if it feels like common sense, basic knowledge to you about exactly how to use that, it is so much kinder to be very clear about those instructions. And if you're worried about it coming across condescending, I think that a great way to mitigate this is to have a lot of fun with those instructions. Like, get onto Canva, find some super cute graphics, put some like little penguins or other holiday themed borders around, and then write the instructions in. Or if that even feels a little too, not quite sure, write a story. Like, the snowman did this, and throughout that story you can place in the instructions. So if it's like the mulled wine kit, you can make a story about a snowman having other snowman friends over, and he prepped the mulled wine by X, Y, and Z. Have fun with your creativity and making it like even more of a story. But basics here, all right? I'm gonna give you the basic framework. You can fill it in and have fun making it your own. Also, if you are like a poetry person, if you have a lot of fun writing poems, you could probably come up with a cute holiday themed poem that would fit into that. Why I like using this style of an approach is, even if somebody receives this gift and they already totally know how to use it, they didn't need those instructions, this isn't gonna come across as condescending to them by any means. They're gonna look at it and they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, this is super cute. Like, wow, this person put so much like thought and love into this gift. I love this so much. And if they did not already know how to do it, then they're gonna be so grateful that they have those instructions. And they're also gonna be like, oh my God, this is super cute and I love it. My next broad tip is to thrift all of those jars and platters and baskets and things within the gift. The things that you need in order to like present the gift to your people. Being able to thrift those glass jars or ceramic platters, things like that, are so great because it adds an additional gift for your people. And instead of using like thin, flimsy plastic or paper disposables, you're gonna be able to build a little bit of sustainability into that gift. I think that a lot of times for us DIYers, one of the benefits is that we can choose to do things in a little bit more of an eco-friendly way. And so if you are thrifting the packaging of your DIY edible gifts, then that like hits that eco-conscious sustainability value. Alrighty, and sometimes, as I kind of alluded to earlier, throughout this season we are being gifted a lot of food, usually, and we might even be in the spirit to bake a little bit more than we normally do, or cook larger meals than typical, and so we might already have an abundance of delicious things to eat. And if you are really wanting to gift people an edible DIY gift, but you feel worried that you might be inundating them with more food than maybe what they can realistically eat through right now, you could always consider giving them like a coupon or a gift card for a meal in the future. Maybe it is like a big pot of soup. Or if you're really well known for a certain like dessert or baked good, you can say like, oh, I'll bring you a dozen of these muffins or whatever whenever you want them. You just let me know and I'll bring them to you at that time. Or maybe it's even like, okay, I'll come and cook a date night dinner for you guys and like my partner will babysit your kids or something, you know, a whole full experience. But being able to present these as like a coupon gift card type thing helps so that the gift receiver can have some control about like when they are receiving it from you, which will just really help so that they can actually like consume and fully enjoy the gift that you are intending to give, which is really what we want, right? Whenever we give gifts, yes, we get a nice, happy feeling, but we hope that the gift receiver is going to really have the absolute most enjoyment out of the gift that we've given. So if you're worried at all about your edible, DIY edible gifts maybe being a little bit too much for people right now, you could always present them with like a coupon for a future delicious edible gift. Oh, hi, Nakia from the future here. I know, jump scare. So as I was editing, oh, I should do this with the Santa hat on. Give me a second. So as I was editing this video, I realized that I got very long-winded and it is the holiday season. We're all very busy. Nobody has time to watch like a 30+ minute video. So I'm gonna go ahead and just end this one here and then put out a part 2 of this, which I'll post tomorrow, but let's be realistic, like by the time you're seeing this, it'll probably already be out there ready for you to watch, so I will link it here at the end of this video. But in part 2, I'll go into those categories of gifts, a few examples from each category, and then special considerations that you want to keep in mind for that category specifically. So thank you, Chefeteers, so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe so that you catch the new videos. And if this topic of the DIY edible gifts is super interesting to you and you want to go deeper, be sure to check out the video that I will link here. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much, Chefeteers.